Welcome to Pakar Foundation second wellness dialogue session on making listening your superpower. Every month through this platform, we are bringing you topics related to mental health, stress, depression, suicide, not only to raise awareness, but also for us to be able to build the skills that we can use in our everyday life to help others and yourself going through challenging times. Before we jump into the session, I do want to take a few minutes to talk about Pokar Foundation and the lovely work that we are doing. Pokar Foundation launched a volunteer driven emotional support helpline in August last year, and we provide free, confidential emotional support to anyone feeling stressed, depressed, or suicidal. All the volunteers have been thoroughly trained, gone through multiple rounds of training, and are willing volunteers here to listen to you and try to understand you without any judgment. And I'm sure we can all appreciate what a wonderful service that is for many of us who don't have anyone really to speak to. I'm sure we all have been through experiences that help us understand the importance of such support, right? Pukar currently operates from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day with a strength of 22 volunteers, and we are looking to grow our volunteer base every time. We will put
Priya,
the
off
details.
ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡು ಪ್ರಿಯಾ.
If everyone can be on mute for just some time, thank you so much. We will be putting the details of the helpline in the chat so you can save it, share it, use it, right? We will share that in the chat periodically. Before I introduce the speaker of the day, some housekeeping rules. We would really like this to be an interactive session. That means videos on, keep your questions handy, put them in the chat. Vanita is gracious enough to answer each and every question. So we will have times between the session to answer the questions and towards the end as well. So we would like to keep it interactive. And towards the end, we will also have a very short feedback form that we would love for you to fill so that we know how this is going for you and what you'd really like to hear from us. Um, so without further ado, let me introduce the speaker of the day, someone who has vast experience in this space and is one of the kindest people I know. Vanita, welcome to Pukar Foundation's Wellness Dialogue. So glad that you're here today. She is an experienced befriender. That means she's trained to provide emotional support. She has volunteered in befriender centers for over 10 years in Delhi and Bombay. She has, in fact, also co founded an emotional support helpline in Bangalore. She has a background in science and management. I think that was a previous life, Vanita, where she spent her initial years in corporate life. She's now an experienced therapist in alternative healing modalities, and she practices in Bangalore. Um, what she had to say about her belief is that she supports people in unlocking their potential. And I think what she wanted to say was what you resist persists, and there is a way of finding the path of least resistance. And each one of us can find fulfilling, successful, and harmonious life if you're ready to seek help and do the work. Thank you so much, Vanita. I'm so happy that you're here. And as you hear her speak today, you will surely notice the calm and the free flow, which is part of her demeanor itself. I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing her speak. But before I hand it over to you, Vanita, just a little bit about the topic itself for today, which is so important. And I'm so glad we have so much support for this topic. Many people have reached out to us to say thank you for doing this particular one. We have come together to talk about active listening and why that is a superpower in today's time. If you notice all around you, right, we are super connected with everyone through social media and technology. I think we are connected with every single person we have ever known in our lives. We have plenty of avenues to express ourselves, videos, blogs, social media, chat, you name it, right? But do any of us really feel seen or heard or understood, validated? Do we feel like we have people in our lives who really understand us and stand by us in our journey? Do we know how to even help others who are in challenging times? This is where this topic really comes in, right? Active listening. In today's world of continuous chatter, It's a real superpower to be able to just sit back and truly listen. Um, Vanita, I want to start off with saying, we all have people, I'm sure everyone here is going to agree with me. We all have people in our lives that, are going through difficult times and we want to help them and be there for them. But sometimes we just don't know how, and we're just falling into the same patterns and not really able to be there for them. And I would love to hear from you on how we can do that, how active listening can help in doing that, and if you can leave us with some real skills to be able to do that, that would be great. Over to you, Anita. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anu, for that, for this opportunity. Thank you, Pukar. Thank you, Dolly and Ujjwala, for making this an important enough topic to be included in the webinar. And thank you, Anu, for the lovely introduction, which is very sweet of you to say all those things. So, yeah, coming back to what we are talking about today, you said that we would like to help people around us also, because in this day of disconnected lives that we lead, if we see someone, say, for example, anyone who's going through, maybe going through some low period in their lives, struggling with something, then really what to do about it, right? So somewhere we have to see this kind of instances coming up in our daily life around us. Many times we ignore it. Many times we really don't know what to do about it, even if we want to do something. So for example, Anu, if I'll just give you an example of a person. Say she's a young lady, uh, maybe middle aged, and I am acquainted with her. I'm not a very close friend. I see her off and on. I see that she's very cheerful, engaged with people, engaged with situations around her. And suddenly, off late, I see that there's a change in behavior. She's keeping quiet, she's keeping low, and I don't see that energy coming out from her when I talk to her or something. And um, I see her, for example, coming across, I come across her one day, maybe while I'm taking a stroll in my apartment complex. So I would request, Anu, would you like to, volunteer to be that person for me for the time being, expressing your concerns, like how I have set up the situation?
Sure, Vanita. Always up for
Okay.
some drama.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Anu is a person who is going through something in her own life. She's feeling low. She's got a little bit of change in appearance also, and I feel not that energy coming up to her. So I go up to her. Anu, what happened? You're not feeling too good, right?
I'm okay, Vanita. Just going on, carrying on.
Oh, really? Come on, yeah. That other incident, that event that we had last month, you didn't join for that also. I really think that you keep too busy within yourself now.
Not busy, but I just don't join somehow. I don't didn't feel like it this time.
Come on, yeah. There's a gym also, right, in our clubhouse. थोड़ा सा exercise करोगे ना, then maybe you will feel better.
Why you think I put on weight?
Hmm, I don't know. I don't want to say things like that to you. You'll start feeling bad again.
No, I really think I have, and actually that's bothering me quite a lot.
Yeah,
And nobody seems to like. Everyone says, "Nee, nee, tu theek hai, you're fine, you look nice." I'm like,
yeah.
I don't feel that way.
I don't know. Actually, everyone is on keto diet these days. So, maybe you should try some keto or something like that.
Is it right
Take
to
off
take?
carbs from your diet.
Oh, that sounds really
Hmm.
hard. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe to try that.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
tried
tried
it.
it?
No, yeah, I tried it. I tried it and I went off carbs and sugar. I really lost quite a lot of weight.
Actually,
You
yeah,
should try. You should try that. Yeah.
you do look nice.
Yeah.
Mm,
It is very important. You're a young mother, right? And you should always have a lot of energy around you because you have to deal with so many things, at home with kids and all that. You just don't ignore yourself like this. You're just letting
I
yourself
have so
go.
many people to take care of. I can't spend time on myself, Anita. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
give
I
me
mean,
time.
come on, yeah. I mean, come out of it now. You're a young person. You know you're educated. What's wrong with you?
Well, I mean, I've just not been able to, Anita. I've just been feeling like I needed to speak to someone, but yeah, I know you're trying to, encourage me to go to the gym and follow a diet,
Uh,
but I just get so tired with chores. I'm done with
hmm.
the day.
Yeah, I know. We all keep busy lives, I know, but this is no excuse for letting yourself go like this, okay?
Yeah,
Next
I
time I see you, I want to see you a little more freshened and a little more, taking care of yourself. Okay?
okay.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Vanita. I'm curious if the participants had something to say to me. What would you say? If anybody wants to unmute and say something to, you know, add to what Vanita was telling me, what would you say to someone like this you met in your building walking downstairs?
I felt probably Vanita didn't allow the person to speak. Maybe
Jendra,
should
what would you
have asked.
say?
No, I was saying that probably the one if I walk up to the person, probably I should give some time to other person to express, then start assuming it could be a diet control, it could be something else.
Yeah,
Yeah, and probably putting pressure on that. You must look good. You must be
yeah,
seeing it. You must have energies and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jendra. That's exactly how I felt. I don't know how you guys felt listening to the person I was trying to play. If somebody was telling this to you, Vanita, I felt very pressure.
Yeah, very pressured. Yeah. Very pressured. Already
Yeah,
there may be something going on in the mind now. Some more are got added to that.
right. Thank you. Thank you, Jayendra. Over to you, Anita.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we did a short role play just to see a normal interaction, how that happens, especially among neighbors, friends, even family and friends, where we do see someone going through something, but then, yes, we kind of ignore it. We become very casual about it, and we start giving, my experience. So I just wanted to clarify in this particular this thing. This is not an ideal scenario of emotional support. This is really not the way we can go about it, because the most important thing is which came up was that it was my experience talking. Like, it's me who is talking to the person. It is all about me, not about that person at all. And a lot of advice coming in as to I did this, so you can also do it. You should keep up with whatever is happening around you. Why are you letting yourself go like this? So this is like an advisory, comments which are coming. A lot of preaching also came in here, like preaching that you need to have a lot of energy because you have children around you. It is your responsibility to look after your children, your home. You don't have the luxury of letting go yourself like this, and scolding the person and totally ignoring any concerns that that person is saying. But still, it should be a lot. It's a lot of kind of shall we say, a lot of comments coming in regarding her personal, appearance, and then a lot of biases which are showing up from our own, from my own life, maybe from my own opinions of what is right and what is wrong. The biases come up. So basically, to hold all of these together and to say, okay, this is how we are, and this is in a casual reaction. This is how most of us do behave when we see someone who is going through, maybe struggling through something, feeling low, or something like that. So, what are the things that we can now do to be a more effective listener? In the sense, be an active listener. So, what is active listening? This is the topic of this webinar, and how you can make active listening your own superpower, so that you can spot people you can help people around you, and maybe, you can create better things for yourself around your home, your work, or in your relationships. So we'll
Vanita,
just,
just if you don't mind me interrupting,
yeah.
I'm curious to hear from everybody also, if this sounded familiar, this role play sounded familiar. Is this something that, you have found yourself doing? There's no shame in accepting that. We all do it. And if you had any questions about, how Vanita was responding to me. Yes, Sonali, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say something like here she was giving you advice, right? So what if if the person whom I'm talking to, interacting with, is a constant complainer, he or she constantly complains. Does active listening works there as well? I mean, because it's so stressful, right? At times, if a person is constantly complaining about his or her situation, and so that was, I mean, I just want to clarify that as well,
Thank you, Sonali.
as to uh, how do we react in those situations? How do we become an active listener in those situations?
Right. Vanita, would you like to take that now, or do you think it's going to
Yeah,
be
I think we'll
coming up?
take it during the course some of the questions may get resolved there. Otherwise, toward the end, we do have a small segment where we can address those questions also. But this is an interesting point that you have brought up, Sonali. So we'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments? If not, Vanita, you can. Anybody else want to say something? All right, Vanita, over to you.
Okay. So, right, as we talk more about this and engage further into this particular topic, just made a small presentation which you can just look at. Maybe you can take screenshots of it and just remind yourself about the points that we are talking about here. And I know I'll be able to share my screen.
Yes, you should
Yeah,
be able to.
okay. Yeah, is that showing up now? Great. So, this webinar is about make listening your superpower, right? As part of the wellness dialogues that Pukar Foundation is doing. Now, Pukar has opened up this space to understand how listening can become your superpower. So, whatever I'm going to share here, all the concepts, all of these are time tested ones, and they have been time tested for many decades and from all over the world. The sources of all these concepts are from Samaritans of UK and from befrienders worldwide. Some of the concepts may be new, but most of it will be something which is already known to you. You are, you have used it before, and you may be using these concepts. But I'm just now bringing it into your awareness at how you can consciously use these tips, these skills to become a more active listener. So at the start, what I will be doing is just looking at all these topics that we are going to look at during the next 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So we'll be looking at what is active listening, of course. Mainly, what is in it for me? Why should I even actively listen? Because this is something which Sonali has also brought up, saying that, there's someone who's always complaining, so why should I actively listen? Roadblocks to active listening. So, what are the main things which stop me from active listening? And also, if I want to help, if I feel that there is someone around me who needs my help, what can I really do? If there are roadblocks, how do I get over those roadblocks? Right? So, next, we will be talking about obviously what is active listening, right? Now, the purpose of active listening is to truly understand how a person is feeling and thinking at that time. And as Anup said right in the beginning, to have them validated, in the sense to help them be seen, be heard. That is the purpose of active listening. So, active listening really requires us to be present, to be focused, and to be engaged fully into whatever we are listening to at that time, right? It challenges us to listen with all our senses, meaning not just listening with our ears, but even maybe listening with your eyes, seeing the non-verbal cues, seeing how the body posture is of that person, and the kind of environment that the person is presenting to you at that time. It could be an office, it could be a home environment, or maybe, just the appearance of the person, not in a judgmental way, but just for you to get information. Because sometimes the facts which are shared to us, there are some feelings behind those facts. So we need to look at what may lie behind. Listening more effectively also is important because we get a truer understanding of any situation or any need which a person has, and it helps us to provide a more appropriate feedback at that time. Because most often, just being listened to is enough to help someone go through, some distress that they are going through. Just showing up that you care, just showing up for them, and that you recognize that they're going through some distress can itself be a lot of comfort. So it is important to give that opportunity to people to explore the difficult feelings that they may be going through. Many times people go through feeling, they feel restless, they feel confused, they don't know what is really happening with them. But if an opportunity is given and you are able to explore it in a very safe and trusted way, then they may be able to come up and explore those feelings. Because it is important to be listened to in confidence and accepted without prejudice, without any judgment. And if that is done, most of the problems in the world can really go away. Because listening, really listening is not very easy. Because we, as you saw in the earlier role play that we did, we must control the urge to say something, to make a comment at that time, to add to that story that they are already saying, to add my own experience that this happened with me and that's how, I can tell you, or offer advice. We need to listen not for all of these, but we need to listen to the facts, what is happening, what the person is telling us, and the feelings behind them. These are the two things that we are going to be listening to, because we need to understand things from their perspective, not from our perspective. Okay, so we'll just go a little more deeper into this now. What's in it for me? Okay, this is the lingo I think the younger adults would like identify with. Why should I really take all this effort to listen actively? Because we all want better relationships. Because to build better relationships, we need understanding, we need empathy. Because that shows that we care. So whether it is in your personal life, at work, or study, or even a social situation, and especially important for our young professionals in important positions in leadership, where you're working with a team, it is very important to build better relationships, to provide emotional support for people you care about, your family, your friends, your neighbors. Would you not like to be there for them if they are going through, your loved ones? It also helps in resolving any conflicts. Again, whether it is in workplace conflict, or it is in a family conflict, or maybe a social conflict, you understand the person better. Because who doesn't want peace and harmony in their lives, right? We all work better and are better human beings if we have a certain sense of balance, a certain sense of harmony around us. And it also helps in avoiding conflicts and misunderstandings and keeps the conversation going around us positive if we are able to listen effectively, be an active listener. And more importantly, improve one's ability to solve the problems. So all these could definitely be your superpower, right? Because we are not looking at passive listening. We're not looking at just being there like a sounding board for people to just say whatever they want to say, maybe complain, like one of you said, We are not there for that, but we are here for being an active participant in this by being non-judgmental, by being understanding where they're coming from. So we'll just unravel a little more about what active listening is all about here by understanding a little more about what could be the roadblocks to active listening. What really prevents us from listening the way we would like to listen. Okay. So
Vanita,
this is
can I
just,
interrupt you here, if
yes,
it's all right?
yes, yes.
And because this is so wonderful the way you have put it in, as to why it's important to do it, and what it is. I'm sure everyone has kind of a little bit of an understanding now as to what doesn't allow them to do it. So before you move on to, I think the next thing is about the blocks. I'm curious if
Yes.
anybody wants to, in just a word or two, even put it on chat. What do you think are your blocks for, active listening?
Yeah.
Why do you feel you are not able to do it?
Yeah, that's a good thought, Anu, because of course we do have our own blocks to any
Yeah.
situation.
And we also have a question in the chat. We will pick it up right after Vanita finishes the section
Okay.
on blocks. But
Okay.
I'm curious if anybody has to share any blocks that they feel. One, I think in the question itself is that, if it's a person I know, then it's difficult. But if it's a person I don't know, then it's okay. I hear you, Shrikant. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Any other blocks that you feel that come in your way?
So
If
Anu, I
not,
think
Vanita's going to work. Yes,
uh,
Anu.
yeah, so I think one that does come very naturally is maybe from a wrong place, is that I may not have the answers. Oh goodness,
Yeah.
what if the person has something deeper and bigger to share? That fear, if they have something
Yeah.
larger to share and I won't be able to help, do I really want to? Because you kind of do start picking up the cues early on if you're even
Yeah.
slightly attentive to people not being themselves, and that
Right.
entire fear of I might not be the person to solve it, then am I the right person to hear it?
Yeah. So the
Also
fear is
stops.
the big block. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. Thank you, Amy.
Maybe one other thing, Vanita, if you can clarify, there will be a lot of data if somebody is talking about what they are going through in the life. If they start giving lot of data, be able to respond to the data, or how do we really, or I mean, whenever we need to respond or something, on where to focus on, how do we say that we can do an active listening? If you can clarify.
So thank you, Chandra. So what I'm hearing you say is that, when a lot of data comes, it becomes a little
Yeah.
difficult to actively listen. Thank you.
Yes, there may be some relation issues, or
Understood.
maybe somebody is going through career. They keep giving,
Right.
my boss, this happened in the office, this, that, and all. They keep going through. How do I
Right.
process that?
How do
It could be
you sift
overwhelming to
through
me.
the stories?
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so much,
yeah.
Chandra. Anybody else, in just a one word, any other blocks that you personally face? And then Vanita is going to walk us through it. All right. Over to you, Anita. Sorry for that interruption. I just was curious if people are resonating with this and seeing how it's how they themselves are placing themselves in this situation.
I'm glad the questions are coming up, because then you are reflecting on what is happening in your life, and you're trying to see, okay, this is something which maybe can create an issue, or maybe this is a problem that I'm trying to solve but I'm not able to solve, right? And I really like the fact what Amy said about the fear of something bigger which is going to come up. And that holds me back from even venturing out, because, it could be like a Pandora's box, maybe, which is opening up, and too many things, it can overwhelm me. And that can be a bigger block. And what Jayendra said, that about bringing too much of data into the conversation, whether I'll be able to handle so much of issues which are happening around that person or not. So yes, we'll go through that. Once we discuss the blocks, I have to actually listen how to turn that. What are the skills that we can use? We'll come to that. Okay.
Okay. One thing I just wanted to also the speaker to cover is, I mean, in the active listening, while we are supposed to be non-judgmental, how do we prevent ourselves getting emotionally involved in case some of the situations which are being described by the person whom we are listening to, they start resonating with what has happened to us in our personal lives, and hence how do you remain emotionally disconnected while being emotionally involved?
Thank you,
and-
Atul. I have noted that question as well. Vanita, maybe either during or at the end, we can pick up these
Yeah,
questions. Thank
this
you so
is
much.
this is definitely one of the blocks to active listening, because somewhere we feel that we may get triggered by, something which is happening in that person's life. So how do I manage that? Right? Okay. So here we are looking at what really is active listening, what are the blocks to active listening, and what can we do to prevent those blocks. Okay. So if these are the things that we wish to do, we wish to be there for the person, we wish to be emotionally available, we wish to, show them that we care, especially our loved people, and maybe even in our professional environment. You want to build better relationships, you want to avoid conflicts, you want to, create a positive atmosphere around you, build harmony. Why is it so difficult to do that? Right? In today's world, we see around conflict is around us all the time. Because whenever we are having a conversation with anyone, it could be anyone in our family, anyone in our workplace, or maybe even a social situation, especially between an elder person and a younger person or something, we always are coming from the space that I know what is best for you. Okay. I am your parent. I am your adult child. I am your best friend. I am your own sister, your own brother, your husband, your wife. I'm a true well wisher. So, why will I say anything wrong? Right? So, I know what is best for you. That is one of the blocks. I have the solution. I know instantly I am the smartest person in this room. I know what will work for you. So, I know what is best for you. Listen to me. Then something which Atul and I think Jendra also brought up and Sonali brought up. I'm not comfortable about how you're feeling. It makes me anxious. Okay. I feel helpless because I am myself not able to deal with my situation, my feelings. How can I, help you with yours? I can't be with you when you're feeling low. I'm sorry. Okay. So that is also a block in active listening. You kind of emotionally back off. You turn a deaf ear to what is happening. And most importantly, if I'm not solving your problem, I'm not helping you, right? Because how else can I help you? I can only help you if I bring you out of the distress. So, like in the role play that we just saw, some of things that we have to do, the things that we do when we're listening to others is we, in our own world, say camps, which is we say we treat it very casually. We become advisory. Okay, C is for casual, A is for advisory, M is for my experience. Like I always like to bring in my experience and also like to preach. Okay, tell them or scold them and advise them, scold them, preach them. So these are the things that we do in a normal situation, which can become a block to your active listening. So now we're going to see one of the a few of those blocks. Okay, each one of you can look and see how these blocks relate to you. Maybe not all of them relate to you. Maybe one or two may relate to you. But is it something that we can look at? So we do this. What not to do is do not suggest solutions, because advising, moralizing, excessive questioning, ordering, threatening, especially younger children, or even suggesting the solutions too quickly. As soon as we start talking of the problem or the concern that they have, we say, just do this. Within 1 minute, your problem will be solved. Okay. Because that kind of instant thing makes maybe I'm anxious that you should not feel anxious. So I'm going to solve this problem for you. What this does is it takes the person away, it takes you also as a listener away from the feelings and the emotions. And I'd like to address this about what Jayendra had brought up about too many facts that are presented in a conversation. So what we need to look at is not the facts, but the feelings behind the facts. So what is the person going through at that moment? Because no one in the world can advise another person what they should do. It is their life. They can make up their mind as to what they want to do, right? But at that moment, they are feeling upset because they are just not able to resolve their feelings. So this could be a major block. Another block could be judging, right? Uh, Criticizing, maybe labeling, diagnosing, trying to find an evaluating that whole issue, and becoming a little more biased into all of that. Um, Avoiding the concerns, praising the person, uh, showing our biases, avoiding the concerns of the people, diverting them from their concern into feel good, offering a silver lining, maybe, telling them to be brave, like how I was telling Anu, come on, shake yourself out. You have to be brave, you have to be courageous, you can't let yourself go like this. Showing them the silver lining in the cloud. There is hope for you. If you do this, something really nice can happen to you. And looking for support systems very quickly. All of these kind of prevents the person from venting out their deepest feelings. So when we do that, we are not helping the person. We are just suppressing him. We're like putting a lid on the bottle, and then keeping all those feelings inside, which is the real cause of the distress. The cause is not that they are having some financial trouble, they're having a relationship issue, or all of that. That could be the cause in that way. But the reason why they're feeling distress is they're not able to handle that clause because they are not feeling heard. They are feeling alone, they're feeling lonely, they're feeling helpless, they're feeling fearful, they're feeling anxious. So these are the feelings that we need to bring out. What are they actually feeling in that time? Um, so logical point is not what we're looking at here, but the feelings behind the logic. Okay. So if you want to take a pause here again, we can take a pause here, Anu, and and ask if any other questions that come up, then we can address those.
Sure. In fact, when you said the logical point, that the one thing that I was just thinking about was in active listening, what it seems like you're saying is the shift has to be from helping is providing solutions to helping is just being there, and helping is just listening. So from the brain to the heart, kind of, that's what is coming to me visually. But yes, we did have some questions earlier, if you want to take them now or after
Sure.
you talk about this.
No, I think if you feel they are relevant to these points now, then we can take them up.
So how can I, Jayendra has a question. How can I be non-judgmental with a person who I already know how the person behaves? Take an example like Sonali was saying of someone who constantly complains or finds faults. How can I avoid being judgmental there?
Okay. Yeah, this is a difficult thing for everyone. All of us, we are all work in progress. Believe me, even people who are offering emotional support professionally, even those people, judging is something which comes second nature to us. And that's how the world is. We always operate through our senses. Okay. We always operate through what we feel, we think about our own, and we always think from our perspective. So here, the only thing we have to do is remove our perspective, put ourselves in their shoes, and see what is happening with them. And the only way to do it is, I was seeing this beautiful film earlier, about the piglet or something like that. And then there is this person who is deep inside into a hole, and there is another person outside who is trying to look down and say, okay, come on, come out of that hole, come out of that hole. And the person is not able to do it because the hole is pretty deep, and there is no way. He's saying, come on, you can do it, come on, come out of the hole. and the person is just feeling so helpless and hopeless, sitting there in that deep hole. So what happens, what you can do is you can actually put a ladder, not to bring the person up, but you yourself go down. Go down into that hole and sit with that person and be there, just being there and being there for that person when they're going through distress is enough for them to get the strength to deal with whatever is happening around them. So, does that answer any of your questions?
So Vanita, basically you're saying that even though you know the person, just try to empathize kind of anything, go with the person.
Right.
Maybe we have to put that old experiences back of our mind.
Yes, you have brought a very good point, Joendra. Empathy as versus sympathy, where sympathy is feeling maybe pity for the person, looking at the person from a point of view where I am better than you. Okay, so I pity you. I really would like to help you in that way. But empathy is where we both are at the same place, and I feel you. I feel what you're going through. I see that you are in distress. I'm concerned for you. So these are a few things that we can do to help a person going through distress without being judgmental and without getting emotionally involved in what is happening, without dealing with too many facts. Okay. And also, maybe if a person is a constant complainer, like how Sonali was saying, the complaints can be about maybe the things which are going wrong with them. But what is the person feeling at that point? What is the person going through internally? If that is addressed, then those complaints may stop. Maybe you know. So the only way is, this is a skill that we all learn every day. And this is a time tested skill, like I said, which has been learned and perfected over decades and decades. For any emotional support, the counselors, the therapists, and all of them use it. But you can do it in your own way, in your own small way to people around you, and make the small world around you a little better. Okay.
I have a
So,
question here, Vanita.
yes.
So when we see, when we try to look at the problem of the person, or we try to solve it or take the responsibility, it's also like we are making it about ourselves.
Right.
We are taking it from the focus on the from the person to we are making ourselves as the focus.
Yeah, that and only that is why we always see it from our perspective all the
Right.
time, right? And the focus is, I'm going to help you, not that you are going to be helped.
Yeah,
That's a very important thing that you have brought out. Yes.
yeah. Thank you, Vanita.
Right. So going on to how to actually help, right?
Vanita, before we go on to the next part, there's another question, if we can address that.
Mhm.
There's a question from Shrikant, which says, asks that I feel it's easier to be an active listener when the person is known compared to someone lesser known or unknown. So,
Mhm.
are there any tips to be an active listener in all scenarios?
So the question is that it is easy to help with someone who is unknown rather than known, right?
Yes, it is easier to be an active listener when the person is known compared to somebody whom we
Oh,
don't know.
oh, the other way around. Okay. So here, I guess the person is a loved person or someone within the family or someone whom you are invested in, right? So where you would say, okay, I have the patience, I'm invested in the relationship, and I would like to listen to you for that reason. So
Correct.
yes, that is one of the reasons. Also, we have more patient, we say this person is family. Okay, so once we say family, then we kind of overlook many of the ups and downs or idiosyncrasies that the person may have as a personality, and all of that, and we kind of gloss over that. But maybe in a workplace, okay, or in a professional environment, you don't have the time and you don't have the energy to go into active listening, maybe because you have so much on your plate, and maybe at a social event, so many things are happening around you. How do you really actively listen there, right? So these could be, I think, the two scenarios which is coming to my mind, which where you feel, or in a casual place, how can you actively listen? But the point here is, Shrikant, if you show them that you care and you're concerned for them at any point, even a small word saying that, hey, I'm here for you. If you feel low, you can just talk to me. Just telling them that you are there, that is itself is in many situations. Because if they really need it, they know that they have one open door here where they can go and they can talk to that person. Because ultimately, it's all about that person. That person has to feel confident enough to come out and share. If they are not okay, that's fine.
So the idea is just to acknowledge the presence of the person, even if you're not able to actively listen for that to that person
Yes,
at that
yes,
point of time.
yeah. It is like putting a foot in the door and saying, "Hey, open the door a little bit and leave it open." No, tell them that you are concerned for them. Show that you care. Validate their feelings, what they are having, going through. If they wish, let them open the door and then talk to you.
Thank you, Anita.
Right?
And thanks,
Yeah.
Ujjwala, for jumping in when I had internet.
Yeah,
issues.
thank you, Ujjwala, for that important point. Yes.
Yeah.
So on to the main topic, I think there will be more questions, Anita. We can take it towards the end so that,
Yes.
we can definitely reach
Ab-
this part, which is the most
Yes,
key.
this is actually the superpower that you're going to get now. You will be induced with a superpower so that you can actively listen. So now we know what not to do, right? We should not judge. We should not suggest solutions. We should not avoid the concerns, avoid the roadblocks. So how to actually help if you want to? Help a person feeling low, struggling with something. We are naturally hesitant, like how Shrikant was also saying. We are hesitant because most people worry that if they ask anything, then maybe like how Jendra says, a Pandora's box may open up, or Sonali says, what can we do? We are hesitant because people worry that it can also be intrusive in some way, and or maybe even make things worse. Maybe that person will really go fall deep into the dumps because I've just told them that, hey, I think you're going through a tough time. I can see that. But you'll be very soon be able to see if the person you're speaking to isn't comfortable or doesn't want to share or have that kind of a conversation. If that happens, well and good. If they don't want to open up, you still have let them know that you're there for them. Okay. So once you start actively start the conversation, then what do you do? And in what way can you really be there for a person, avoiding all the roadblocks for listening? Once someone starts to share how they are feeling, then it is important to listen, because this could mean not offering advice, but showing that you care. So we have compiled a list of simple skills that you can have. Open-ended questions is one of the very useful skill that you can do. Any question which doesn't require to be answered in a yes or a no is an open-ended question. For example, you can say, how are you feeling? How are you feeling today? Or how did that letter that you received recently, or how did those words spoken by that relative of yours recently, or what you were telling me, how did that action of that family member or that work colleague make you feel? Okay, how did that make you feel? That is an open-ended question. Where do you feel this happened? If someone is talking about a lot of data, right? And then you say, I'm really upset about it. So where exactly did this happen? What happened? What more can you tell me about this? Whatever is happening, what more can you tell me? Okay, so someone made you feel this way. Who made you feel this way? How are you feeling? When did you feel this way? So when you ask these open-ended questions about feelings, the person is away from those facts and then focused on the feelings. focused on what they are really feeling at that time or what they were feeling at that time. And that makes them become aware of themselves. And once they become aware of their own feelings, then they're able to resolve it. Then that resolution, that knot which is there in their mind, slowly starts dissipating. Okay, so that is an important thing. The next thing that we can ask them is to summarize. Okay, the reason why we do summarize is a summary helps a person to show that you have actually listened to them. You have actually understood what they are saying. Some of the facts, yes, but also understood the feelings behind the facts. So we can say, so what you're saying is, then since you felt that you have put on weight, for example, you have been feeling low, right? Or since that operation happened, life has been difficult for you. Or what you're saying is, ever since that thing happened in your work, you've really not been able to connect with work or do whatever you want to do. So that is again an open-ended summarization that you are able to do, where you're telling them that you've listened to them, you've understood their feelings, and then you are summarizing it for them. And this also helps them put the whole thing in context. Okay. Another way which we can do is reflect. Reflect back is repeating back a word or a phrase that they have just said that really encourages them to go on and expand on that. Okay. For example, I don't know, sometimes it all seems so much, someone says. Okay. So you can say, yeah, it all seems so much. It all seems too much. So then, yes, it all seems too much because, and then they will go into what they're actually feeling or something which happened right after that. So these are the ways in which we can encourage them to share by reflecting. The other thing that we can do is clarifying, because many times we always try to understand things from our perspective. The person may also, kind of gloss over some important aspect, or they may be deliberately vague because they themselves are afraid to talk about some things, right? So if we explore those areas further, then we can help them clarify it for themselves. So when you said that you lack confidence, for example, did you mean that you fear meeting people? Or tell me more about how this made you feel. So just asking that question, clarifying that point that they have just said, means that you are invested in knowing more about what is happening. So these are skills not just for therapists or counselors or psychiatrists or doctors or anyone, but this is an everyday skill that we can learn to use in our daily language, which will help people to feel more comfortable from where they are coming from. And a very important point in listening is short words of encouragement, where a person may need to, you may need help to go on because they are, just not opening up. So they need confirmation that you are encouraging them, that you are invested in that conversation, that you're interested in what they are saying. So you can say, yes, okay, go on. So short words of encouragement, that to know that, yes, okay, you're listening. You're not like mentally tuned off and you're just there staring at them blankly, right? And another important point is react. The person is, of course, looking for empathy and understanding. Okay, that is a given. So we need to show that we have understood the situation by reacting to it, not by judging, sermonizing, preaching, scolding, but to understand their feelings, to show that you've understood their feeling. So if the person is going through a tough time, you can say that, I'm sorry you're having such a bad time, or I can only imagine how difficult this can be for you. These are a few things that you say that, okay, the person is going through a tough time, you're acknowledging it, you're reacting to it. This looks like a tough time for you. Okay. I can only imagine the pain that you went through in the operation, because you can never know what the pain really is. And I'm concerned for you. So these are a few words that you can use, few ways, few phrases to help people to actively listen yourself and to show them the empathy and the understanding and show them that you care. And very important in all of this is towards the end, if you feel that the person is struggling, the person is still going through a lot, okay, there is a need maybe for you to connect them to maybe a source which can help them. Maybe make an appointment with a counselor, maybe make an appointment with or give them the support of a helpline, give them the support of a person whom you know can help them better than you can, and encourage them to do that. So once you have built that trust and that rapport with them, they would like to, maybe follow through with you and go and take, because we can only be there just to offer that support, show our concern. We cannot actually deal with the issue as it is being presented, but we can definitely connect them to a person who can then support them or help them. So actually, this brings me back to the thing about how to help. I think these are a few things that I wanted to share with you about the things that we have learned through our decades of work, understanding, and knowledge that has been gathered. So now I would like to open the for questions, any questions that you have, and take you back to Anu.
Thank you so much, Vanita. I hope we are all feeling like superheroes in some form. Ironically, we have talked about active listening today, and thank you so much, Vanita, for doing that. If I can just take a minute before we move on to the question and answers, if I can request all of you to switch on your videos, we would like to take a screenshot really quickly and also send out the feedback form while the Q&A session is happening. I do recognize that we are on the hour already, almost at 12. So if Vanita is all right with staying for a little longer, and those who have questions don't mind spending a few minutes more to get that answered, we can go on for a couple of minutes more. But I do appreciate and recognize that others may have to drop off. Thank you for switching on your videos. I hope we are getting the screenshots, Dolly. Thank you so much for switching it on. And Vanita, a wonderful, wonderful, very practical session. Thank you. I also want to reiterate while we are doing this that Pokar is available. We are a free, confidential, emotional support helpline for anyone feeling stressed, depressed, or suicidal. We are available every day from 10 to 2. Details will be posted if they haven't been already on the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We will have Q&A and the feedback form right now. Dolly, would you like to send out the feedback form while the question and answers are happening? Thank you. Anyone who has a question can feel free to unmute. And Vanita, let me check with you first. Is it all right for you to spend a couple of more minutes?
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this wonderful hour that you have spent with us, equipping us with superpower skills. Any questions? I hope all the questions that were asked before have been taken care of. Wonderful. Looks like you've done a really thorough job of equipping us. Doesn't seem to be any questions right now. Thank you so much, Vanita, and thank you all for joining. Do fill in the feedback form before you leave, and we will have another session like this next month. Do make sure to join us. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, listening is a superpower, but I mean, what is mean by superpower in listening sense?
So I think maybe you might have missed the beginning, Renal.
Yes,
Vanita, do you want to
yes.
take this?
Yeah.
Or yeah, all right, thank you.
Yeah, Mrinal, so what we are saying here is it is one of your superpowers to be there because listening really helps you in building your relationships, being there for others, resolving any conflicts that you have, creating positive environment around you. So these are the things which you can do by actively listening. So you can use active listening as a tool to build harmony, to build, a balance around you, to show people that you care, and maybe, if support people in finding help. That is also a part of
Yes,
actively listening. Yeah.
yes, yes. But like, if we think practically, sometimes it's very difficult to listen when you know that, I mean, you can answer back, or it's very difficult to accept few things when you listen, and you don't feel like listening, you feel like answering, or you feel
Hmm.
like argumenting, commenting. How to achieve that?
Right. So there is of course this difference between, these are the roadblocks. That is what we had discussed, right?
Yeah.
These are the blocks because these comes naturally to us, and
Yes.
we have been brought up in an environment, either in school or the way we have been brought up, that we have been told, okay, this is the best thing for you, just do it, right?
Yeah.
So now when we look back into all of that and we look into the work situation, conflicts come up, people are left, feeling upset, feeling, not okay, feeling anxious, feeling fearful. And we are seeing that these kind of situations are coming up more and more now, with, the fast changes that is happening in the society. So somewhere what we are saying, it being a superpower, is if you are able to do that, if you are able to be there for someone, you can actually make a big difference to that person.
Okay.
Yes, you would feel like commenting, you would feel like making a judgment on maybe you do
Yeah.
know that this is the best thing for them, why don't they do it? But
Correct.
tell me, so many people have already told them, right, that this is the best thing for them. You're not the only one, but they have not done it,
Right. Right.
right? So what is it? What is stopping them from not doing it? So that is where we can just open a little bit of that and see what are the feelings, what is actually stopping them from doing it. We're not trying to analyze them or psychoanalyze them or going into diagnosis कि आपको ये syndrome हो गया है, वो syndrome हो गया है. Not into all of that, but just uncovering some of the difficult feelings that they're going through. And what we are saying is, once you start doing that, they themselves will understand, okay, maybe this is something that I can do. This is something I can cope with. This is overwhelming me so much. Maybe I can seek help for this. So it will become like an unraveling, like how you put all the things in the washing machine, and everything goes round and round like that, and everything is like all mixed up. But once you start taking out slowly one cloth from the washing machine, you see that all the cloths become separate, and you are able to look at it. So it's something similar to that. All the thoughts in your mind are all mixed up. You're just unraveling those thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. Right. You got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Vanita, I have a situation. See, a wonderful talk tells us more in terms of how we can behave when it's a one-to-one situation where we are the listener and we are dealing with one individual. How do we manage active listening in a group situation where the group biases are coming in and expected social behavior is a norm? And this I'm talking more from a work environment where you are the boss, and let's say something happens in a team meeting. Are there tips to kind of manage these kind of situations where you can still be an active listener while kind of others are there and their social biases may creep in, and how to kind of block them out? Or is it beyond this topic?
um It may be a little beyond this topic at the moment, because it's more into group behavior and group therapy, where we are only looking at an individual conversation where, in a social situation, in a work situation. But yes, what you did say brings an important point to the table, where we are looking at, if you are a leadership position, how can you actively listen? So at that time, if you set the tone of being an active listener, very soon others will follow. if you make sure that you are empathetic to a person who is asking questions or being, going through a difficult time, and you are showing your concern, then very soon people will notice that behavior, and maybe they will, make that change themselves. And that is all we can hope for.
Thank you so much, Vanita, for being patiently answering our questions even after the time. I do want to respect our time. If you do have questions, you can reach out to us on our Insta handle, which I think has been shared on the chat, and we will maybe have a follow-up or something related to this in our next month session. So thank you, Vanita, for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you all for coming and making this so interactive. Really appreciate it.
I would just like to thank you, Anu, for holding the fort so beautifully and coordinating this whole seminar in your own kind way. Thank you, Ujjwala, and thank you, Dolly, for making this happen, for Pukar, for doing all the work, the great work that you guys are doing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanita, for
Thank
taking out the
thank you,
time
Vanita.
and
Bye.
sharing
you.
Bye.
this. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Anita.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.